ago. All right. Here we are. The Thorn 3-pack returns.
So ring it.
For what this is going to assume, based on what we can get, is going to be the second installment.
Yes.
Tom Kiely, General Manager, Thorn Brewing Company.
Robbie Gallo, the voice to everything.
I was going to say, like, what's the, like, Poet Laureate?
Poet Laureate, okay.
Ooh, how about that?
I like that, yeah.
And?
D Nice. My name is D
Nice.
Nice. Although I hate to admit
Never heard anyone call you that.
No one ever
Not
calls
once.
him that.
D Nasty, maybe.
Put my phone outside.
Didn't they? I'll take it. I'll allow it.
Somewhat of a coincidence, Robbie and I just shot down to Virtuoso down the street, where I saw Malcolm Gladwell, probably like 9 months ago now.
No way.
Yeah.
That's rad.
He goes there.
Dang.
And
He lives here in San Diego?
nah, I don't think so.
Malcolm Gladwell, the author?
Yeah.
Outliers?
The author.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him down there.
Fan.
And look,
Yeah.
I'm the worst like doppelganger recognizer of all time.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Denzel Washington? And it's like, no, my name's Steve. I'm like, okay, not even close. And, I just see him, and I'm actually in a meeting with Brittany, Dennis's girlfriend. She was doing all of our design still at the time.
Yeah.
And Brittany was talking to me, and I wasn't listening to a word. And I'm like, hey, Brittany, I apologize, but I have to go ask to see if he's Malcolm Gladwell because I can't pay attention to anything else. I'm like, hey, man, I'm not going to blow up your spot, but I got to know. Are you Malcolm Gladwell? And he goes, oh, yeah, thank you. And I'm like, oh,
Sick.
big fan of your books.
Yeah.
And I like them.
Did you hear him on the Rogan podcast, too?
No,
Yeah,
but he was on, I want to say he was on an episode of Bill Maher not too far from when I saw him.
And also, speaking of podcasts, I think we're getting a lot of praise. People are kind of comparing us to Rogan podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Really? The
hairdo.
podcast that hasn't even been released is getting...
Already.
Oh, tinges of Rogan. All right.
Yeah, we're doing well.
But anyways, while we were there, so I got this berry. It's like a berry tea, but it looks, it's very pink. I don't know if you could tell. We're releasing a Black Paw hard seltzer, and I just find out this morning there's a brewery in Berkeley called Gilman Brewing Company, and they have a Black Paw hard seltzer.
What? Well, is it so? Northern California and Southern California are basically two separate states. Is there some kind of law where we can have ours and they can have theirs? And ours is gonna be better, but
I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, we came up with the name a little while ago. I don't know the first time we used it. I don't know the first time they used it. It doesn't appear that theirs is in a can. So at this point, I reached out to him this morning on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I noticed you guys had the same thing. Can whoever's like in charge of that stuff reach out to me? I just want to talk about it and just make sure that we're cool.
did they respond yet or no?
Not yet,
No.
but it was only like 2 or 3 hours ago.
Gotcha.
And I don't know. They could have, and I just didn't even see it yet. I'm not all that active on Instagram.
So in Black Paw would have to be kind of a little spin on a White Claw, I'm assuming.
It's a pun, and since we've got a raccoon logo mascot, it was just kind of a funny knock at White Claw for sure.
I like that.
I'm trying to find online where they did, but yeah, I found that that didn't come up when we were searching it months ago, Tom. That's for sure. So, we'll see, but it is what it is. We're in Kansas, baby.
Dennis hated Risky Fizzness was going to be the name.
Risky Fizzness.
Yeah.
Dennis said he is going to shut the brewery down if we go with Risky Fizzness.
Close.
Why? Why do you hate it?
It's
You're not a
goofy
Tom
and he
Cruise
hates
fan?
it.
No, I didn't hate it.
Just
Actually, I think
too
I
cheesy.
voted for it, but I thought Black Paw was so much better.
Yeah, I dig that. It's easy to remember.
I think it's easy to remember, and we all know White Claw just came out of nowhere with their god awful product and just took over that space. So we're just making the wheel spin a little bit better using real ingredients. And it's just a better product.
I view Dennis as Dennis is like it's a bad analogy, but I'm gonna go with it anyways. He's kind of like a bullet.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here's the deal: if we have a Risky Fizzness gun, the Dennis bullet won't hump into that gun. The Black Paw, if the Black Paw gun, the Dennis bullet will hop into that gun. So I feel like we'll get a little more momentum behind Black Paw.
Only an asshole tries to stick a 45 in a pellet gun.
Hey,
A potato gun.
while we're doing puns, White Claw truly is a terrible product. Huh?
Terrible.
Picking that up?
Good
You
for
see what
you.
I did there?
I heard that.
Black Paw.
I hear your game.
Yeah, Black Paw. You should have heard of some of the commercial ideas that Tom came up with at the beginning for Black Paw, which we had to nix. But
fair enough. Yeah. We settled on some butt chugging video. Did you see the video with Dennis's butt naked in the park and like pouring
I
White
did.
Claw
Those
down
were
his butt?
amazing. Did you have to take those down? Or
No,
can we find
hell
those
no.
still?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh no! Hell no!
But chugging. There's doctors that have come out with the studies that butt chugging is healthy. It's a healthier way to consume alcoholic beverages.
And boofing. Boofing is also
I think
similar.
I think CNN did a bit on it. CNN butt chugging.
No. It wasn't. It
Googling
wasn't butt
right
chugging. It was perineum sunning.
Oh, that's what it
Wow.
was. Yeah, CNN.
So that was
Knowledge.
getting the sun on the butt, and then we converted it. We did a little add-on.
Oh, that's it. And butthole probably does need a little sunshine sometimes.
It's like vitamin D or something like that.
Right. Okay.
I don't. You guys might have been aware. We had a little potential COVID scare over at Thorn Brewing Company.
Uh-oh.
We had a customer that was in the tasting room that ended up, after they were visiting, was positive. Everybody came back clean, but we pretty much shut the brewery down for a day just to make sure to be safe.
But everybody
Worked
tested
out.
negative, so we're good.
Correct.
Yep.
So
We're
all
safe.
clean. Yeah, but it's like the busiest production week we've ever had in the history of Thorn Brewing Company, because we got like this 4,000 case order for Korea, and then we had, we're like loading back up for like Stone and all that. So the timing kind of stunk. But your boy came in,
Dude, I saw that.
canned some cans.
You so handsome.
Thank you.
I saw was it Layla? What's the
Layla,
yeah, she posted this video, and man, you guys are stacking those things like way up high. That shit was cool. I haven't seen
Going 3 high, baby.
Haven't seen it that
Tickling the ceiling in Barrio pallets.
That's nice.
Get ready, Korea.
We busy.
But the main reason we have to make all the beer, not just for Korea but for Stone, is because now all of that like older beer is like aging out.
Okay.
So this isn't like a Thorn thing. This is going to be a nationwide thing. So some of the restaurants that are opening back up now, some of them are pouring the beer that they bought 2 or 3 months ago, and some distributors are swapping out, and breweries are swapping out the beer they have for like fresher codes. But like now is the time where you're gonna either you're gonna see people pushing like, hey, this is our last chance to move this beer before we dump it, or the breweries are gonna be eating a ton of old beer and coming out with the fresh stuff. Like now's the time. And I tell you what,
transitions into our next topic smoothly.
yeah. Well, that's why if I'm a guy opening a distillery,
Right.
which is premised upon converting old beer into booze, now would be a pretty good time to open the doors.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that timing could not have been better for you. I mean, the still was literally ready, up and running, like the day after the day before the first trailer came in. Well, maybe the day after.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. It was for the business model to be upcycling finished craft beer in San Diego, and then this thing to happen where all these bars and restaurants were forced to close. I mean, just draft beer, the demand for draft beer just disappeared. So what we thought would be 1 to 2 truckloads a week is now turning out to be more like 1 to 2 truckloads a month, to be about 6 truckloads a week. So It's nice. We've been stripping through it. We're running through, I think 48 barrels a day on a weekday. And then on the weekends, we're able to do 72 just because we don't have to stop the still at 4 p.m. because of the SDG&E on-peak charges, the rate hike. Yeah, we're running through this as fast as possible, but it's bitching though. We've already kind of started our R&D program, and part of the upcycling of the craft beer. We're also, and it's funny because it's one of those things that just happened in house. But we have the smoker that we're smoking the meats on. We're using oak, so we're taking some of that charred oak and using that to age the whiskey in, and then we're also taking some of the wood that's actually turned into charcoal and using that charcoal as our filter for the vodka. So we're actually kind of closing the loop even more with how we're coming up with our finished product.
Hey, so a quick question.
First, real quick, charcoal's gross. I don't want that in my drink.
What is that?
I don't want charcoal in my drink.
No, you don't.
Charcoal. I thought you said chuckles.
Not in.
Oh,
the
you're
drink.
filtering it.
We're using that as the filter. Yeah, you use charcoal.
I'll allow it.
You filter.
I'll allow it.
You filter vodka to pull out some of the oils and some of the off flavors, and that way you just clean it up a little bit. So it's just a
Clean up
filter.
those oils.
You brush your teeth with it too. It makes them real wet.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wait, two quick question for you there, Dennis. What's the typical shelf life of beer? Like, when does that expiration date
You're
kick
asking
in?
Dennis?
Or
you get the GM of Thorn Brewing Company right here?
Well, okay, so Tommy, what's the typical
So-
shelf life? And does it matter which beer? Does it vary per beer?
Yeah, it does matter. So lagers age better than like an IPA. An IPA, after about 60 days, the hop profile starts to fall off the back end.
That makes sense.
So, and then in the trade, most beers, they typically won't stock past 3 months old. So if you want to add to that, Tom, go for it.
Yeah, so IPAs, the flavor's hop driven. Mm-hmm. A hop is a flower.
Right.
So, flowers don't age well.
Isn't that in the same family as the cannabis flower?
Hops are correct.
Oh, sorry, yeah, cool.
So the hops do not age well. Mm-hmm. So what we do, we usually do 90 to 120 days on our IPAs.
Okay.
With Barrio Lager, we usually move through Barrio, and it usually doesn't get older than a month on draft, but up to 6 months. Dave, be good, buddy. Up to 6 months, it's we allow it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so it's mostly hoppy beers that are the big concern. So for us, that means the hoppy beer that we sell the most of, that is going to be the biggest booze for us. Is going to be hops to pot. So,
okay.
So I think we're going to do a soju, which is kind of like a lower alcohol vodka is what it'll be, but beer bars and wine bars could sell it.
And when you say lower, what's the percentage?
I think it's 25.
Oh wow.
Oh, sorry. So 25.
So what?
Yes,
half
25.
Of that? Okay.
One more time.
So is that half of that, the 25 proof, or is that 25%?
I think it's percent.
Okay, very cool. How does this work? The distilling process? Because I know we talked about it a little bit, but I need a little education. Are you burning off alcohol and then reusing what's the deal?
So what happens is alcohol has a different boiling point. So what happens is you have this big pot of beer in the pot still,
right? And
you boil it. And you incrementally increase the temperature to extract and keep extracting out the alcohol. So the alcohol actually becomes vapor, okay. And then it goes over to the condenser where it's introduced with cooling water, and wow. that vapor then becomes liquid again. And so that liquid coming out is the alcohol. It's completely clear. It comes off the still on our stripping runs. It's coming off the still at about 30 to 40% alcohol. And then when you're done with the process, you've got this pot of boiling beer that is pretty much near beer, except it's disgusting. You wouldn't want to drink it as beer because you boiled it, so you've just oxidized the crap and cooked everything out of it. But the alcohol's gone. Any yeast would also be dead, and what ends up happening is you have something that is now treated and better for wastewater and better for the environment.
Okay, so that becomes the waste.
It becomes the waste.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it becomes a form of waste that's a lot better for, like I said, for wastewater in the environment
Gotcha.
than just dumping beer. You can see that a lot of breweries are going to be dumping the beer, and a lot of them are likely nothing Thorn would ever do, because we have such a commitment to quality, and we also are going to distill it off. But
good plug, buddy. Good plug.
A lot of distilleries are really going to have to dump the beer, and you can see if you Google breweries fined for dumping beer. I mean, that's a nationwide thing, and these people are. You have to assume there's a lot of bad beer going down the drain because they don't have a lot of other options for it. And so what we're giving other craft breweries as well as distributors in San Diego another option. A lot of distilleries right now are either distilling some of this beer and they're actually turning it into hand sanitizer. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are saying they're distilling it into hand sanitizer and actually buying hand sanitizer from other big breweries in bond. So they're just buying these big 275 gallon totes and saying they're doing it because it's a good marketing thing. And out of the gate, when we thought there was going to be a hand sanitizer shortage, we were also going to go that route, but we quickly realized that there wasn't a hand sanitizer shortage. There was just a packaging shortage. So all those little plastic bottles, those are almost impossible to find. So when all these distilleries locally jumped on the hand sanitizer bandwagon, we quickly pivoted back to the original business model, which was making high-end craft spirits because if I wanted to sell hand sanitizer, I'd have got a job at CVS. I wouldn't have started a distillery.
Yeah.
Right, Tom?
Yeah, Dennis, and you don't want to get drunk on hand sanitizer.
Nobody does.
It's terrible. It's your nails look good, but
That's so
hangover.
cool to think about though, because the let's say you're cooking like some kind of sauce or something, you throw a little white wine in there, right, and the alcohol cooks out of it, so you still get the taste, but there's no alcohol left usually, right? So with this machine that you have catches that and then filters it into another part of the machine, and then that becomes the clean, clear alcohol that you can reuse to make a new alcohol product that you would drink and consume. Very cool.
With a longer shelf life as well.
My mom was wondering how this is done, which is why I really needed to put it in some really cool terms. So, because she's gonna watch this podcast and be stoked. I'm like, I get it now. Thank you,
nice.
guys.
Robbie's mom, meow.
Shout out to the mom. You don't even know what she looks like.
I know, I'm a bit of a milf.
But yeah, she's pretty. She's pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah, to Tom's point though, I mean it's neat. One of the things that I really like about this project is it's kind of a passion project of my favorite things from the brewing industry that I don't think really exist in the spirit world right now. I think the spirit world's kind of gotten stale, and I think what's rad about the craft beer scene, minus brewer's disease, is just that collaborative spirit, and it's fun and it's funky, and there's these crazy names, and it's just it seems like it's just a lot more in touch with the consumer than what ends up on your shelves in the way of like vodkas and whiskeys these days. You're not really getting into the gritty part of like making the product. And so, what's neat about this is globalization, and it's done it for craft beer. It's done it for everything. Is globalization's really allowed us to source grains and hops and yeast and other materials from around the world, which is great for consumer options, but it's terrible for the environment, and it's not anywhere related to or going towards sustainability. And here we are, it's like all the beer styles that you could think of, whether they're Irish stouts or they're Belgian style ales and lagers. It's like all those styles, those people didn't try to make those styles, those places made those styles. They used ingredients that were there in the local environment back in the day before you could get a fucking plane to ship it to you, right? And it's like those styles were created by what was locally was around, and the resources that were around those places, including the profiles of the water that's used. And so here, right now, this business, we're taking what we have an abundance of, and what we have an abundance of right now in San Diego are craft breweries, right? Mm-hmm. So tapping into these breweries as our source product, they might have gotten their hops from New Zealand, but we're not really using their hops. We're taking this finished product that was in essence, going to end up getting poured down the drain or destroyed, and we're taking it from our local San Diego, economy, and we're turning it into something that's just. What are you guys doing over there?
My helicopter's here. Sorry, I got a jet.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, we don't have walls on the podcast studio, so there are ambient noises that.
Yeah.
That sounded like a jet.
It was an airplane of some sort.
You're right.
It was an airborne traveling
nice
vehicle.
But anyways, back to what I was saying though. It's just neat because I think it's in the spirits of spirits, and it's in the spirits of craft beer. It's in the spirits of beer in general. It's like finding something that we could find just in our backyard and turning that into a product, taking somebody else's waste and turning it into trash and turning it into treasure. I just think it's I don't think it's tough for any business to really truly say they're sustainable, but I definitely think it's going in the right direction,
Robbie, you should have known when Dennis came on wearing glasses that you were going to get Professor Dennis today. He just educated you on sustainability.
Right.
Also, doesn't it kind of look like Dennis is upside down, like the floor's on the ceiling?
Yeah, totally. Are you hanging upside? Are you one of those weird
the
hanging upside down
headstand
things?
One of those freaky health things that you're doing?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm upside down.
Look at how red his face is getting. I knew it. All right, what's next? What are we going to talk about?
Well, I threw something up here because I'm curious. I kind of want a little bit of feedback. So we, historically, over the past few years, the real formerly popular size packaging for beer was a 22-ounce bottle. And that has been slowly converting over to 19.2-ounce cans. So the tall cans that you see, the 19.2 ounces. In order
Is that
to
an
package,
environmental thing?
No.
No, okay.
No,
You
it's
get
like
more money for cans?
People stopped buying 22-ounce bottles.
Gotcha.
But just glass in general is just going away, and cans are getting bigger and bigger, right? It's just like
Right.
how it's going. So it's going the same in the single serve. So as the 1932s are becoming more popular, taking over some of that space of 22s, but they don't make as much money for the breweries.
Okay.
And I'm curious, do you guys buy more single serve, like a 19.2 ounce can, or do you buy more multi-packs, like beyond a 6-pack, like a 12-pack or a 24-pack or 30-pack, whatever it is? When you
go
buy
ahead,
this,
I can't tell you the last time I bought a 19.2. The only time I think I buy a 19.2 is if you're at like a rock concert.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to stand in line again.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think for me, it would depend on the beer. So there's like a really good special beer, something that's like, a little bit more unique, and, I can get it in a can that's that size, I would get it. If I'm buying by a 12-pack, I usually like to have maybe something that's lighter, like a Barrio Lager, for instance.
I hear.
And if it's a 6-pack, then maybe it's like an IPA of some sort or sour or something. It's that way it's not overabundance of something that has a little bit more of a palate to it.
I just think it's like it's such a pain in the ass. It would be such a pain in the ass for us to do 19.2s for like a variety of reasons. And since you're only selling one at a time, it's like, is it worth it? As opposed to, what about focusing on 12-packs instead? I think our beers are better suited for 12-packs.
So I think where the 19.2 would do well, like for instance, the zoo. I go to the zoo a lot.
Yeah.
Our Barrio Lagers on there.
Are we there? Nice.
And every time I go, yeah, we're there. We're at the restaurant, and there's a couple of little pop-up spots we're at as well. But every time I go there, I always ask the people, oh, hey, I go to the beer, and I ask them what sells the best. And what's funny is it always seems like, and Stone's done a good job of it. They've got that Lion movie backflip or whatever the fuck that beer's name. It's the weirdest name ever.
Yeah, it stands for, like, it has the same, it's like FML or something like that, right? Fear Movie Lions.
Fear Movie Lions, yeah. It's just it's like sticky note naming game.
That's a movie?
Jump red, purple. No, that's not a movie, but movie's in it. It's weird. I don't know. I don't understand the naming thing, but maybe it's because it stands for FML or something. But long story short, that beer is the number one seller, not because it's a great beer and Stone makes great beer, but because it's the biggest package with the highest ABV. Because once again, you're in a place where you're mobile, where you want to get something and walk around, and it's like having these, whether it's Legoland or the zoo or even movie theaters. That's why I thought they had movie in there, because I thought it was, I don't know what the fear one was. Maybe that's for parks, like with the big rides and shit. And I thought the Lion was because it was at the zoo, and I figured movie was something they sold to movies. But I feel like
I don't
those
think
are the venues.
That was the.
That's what I thought. I thought those are the venues that it would sell the best at, and it kind of is. It's like if I'm at the zoo walking around with my kid, and I stumble upon a little beer kiosk, I'm like, hey, I don't know when I'm going to see another one of these. What do you got that's big and high ABV? Because shit, I'm not going to make a bunch of different trips.
Because I'm out of hand sanitizer and I want to get fucked up.
I'm at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm tired of drinking hand sanitizer. But I think the 19.2s in a place like that, or those concerts, same thing, I think are great. I think the packaging sometimes really depends on the outlet of what you're selling or can. The 19.2s will probably do really good in 7-Elevens and places, same thing, where people are trying to get a tall boy and get fucked up.
Yeah.
But I don't buy a lot of 19.2s personally.
Can you put the 19? Because I see those ones that are a little bit taller that are in a 4-pack and they're not a 12 ounce. So what size is that? Is that the 19.2 or
the 16?
That's a 16.
16.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Would we ever do
I'll
something
drink
like
a
that?
16.
Yeah.
I think. We don't have a 16, but I drink a 16 way before 19.2. And it's just a 16 is something you could still probably finish before it gets warm. A 19.2 is kind of excessive, but I would get it for value in places where I didn't think I'd be able to get another beer in 15, 20 minutes, right?
Yeah,
No, I agree. I think, and that's probably the only time that I do it. And same, like if I was like walking for 10 minutes, like going to a show or something, I'm like, all right, I gotta chug this beer before I get. Those are the only times I go for a 92. But like, how many zoos are there in San Diego? There's the zoo, and then the safari park,
The
Was that
Wild
2?
Animal Park. Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have a packaging type to get into 2 venues. I mean, even when you add in like the concert venues, like it's really limited. I don't see it, but I am open
To the idea of it. Yeah, I mean, at a concert for sure. Or a show, whatever. Then you don't got to wait in that long ass line again. You get yourself a nice beer. You can go enjoy the show. Speaking
You
of
always
music,
think in terms of music. I know. No shit. Who knew it? The rapper wants to talk about music experiences.
That's right. I don't know if you could see this on camera, but that's my little rap logo, or hip hop, if you shall will. But man, there's a really cool.
Have you ever met Killer Mike?
No, I've not met Killer Mike or LP, but I did see Run the Jewels probably about a year and a half ago at what's the venue in North Park, the bigger one?
The
Observatory.
Yeah. And we actually played at the Observatory.
Wasn't there a
in
fight on
Orange County.
stage? There's like a beef.
No, not at that.
I thought somebody got punched.
No, that was at our grand opening.
Nice. Knocking fools out if you come to our grand opening.
Sick.
But no, I don't remember a fight. I remember an incredible concert. And Run the Jewels, if you are not familiar, are a rap duo by the name of Killer Mike and LP, who are both probably.
I know who they are. I know where you were aiming that, buddy. Because I only know 3 rap songs. I know that one.
Well, so they're probably in their mid 40s, I want to say. I don't know. I don't want to discredit or make them seem like they're old, but they have been around for a long time. LP's from Brooklyn, New York, and Killer Mike's from Atlanta, Georgia. And but it's just cool as like a musician in general to see. I'm getting older too. I'm 39. I'm gonna be 40.
You don't look it, buddy.
I'm gonna be 40 this year. Yeah. So, but it's just nice to see that someone that's put in.
Dennis is old enough to be your father.
Yeah, look at him. He looks so good though. And but it's just cool to see someone that works that long to actually kind of have the fruits of their like labor pay off. And they did just drop Run the Jewels 4, which has been on my what do I call it, tape deck? It's just been on my Spotify in my car and at home nonstop. It's an incredible album. It is political, and it's talking about some really cool shit that's present and real, and something that we definitely needed. LP comes from Definite Jux, and he's been in the game producing.
What? Wait, what was that?
It's his crew.
Definite Jux?
Yeah, Def Jux. And
Def Jux.
I don't know if you remember Stretch and Bobbito, but they had a really cool radio
never heard of it in my
station
life.
back in the 2000s and the 90s where they introduced all these different rappers and MCs and people that wanted to talk and do all that. But that's kind of his history. And then Killer Mike comes from Atlanta, Dungeon Family, which is connected with Outkast. So they both have this cool history, and then they came together and kind of like Voltron formed this badass duo who's just killing it, taking over many places. They have a good medium, they have a good voice, they're using it, and it's really, really inspiring to see that kind of stuff. And if you guys do get a chance, you got to listen to it.
Hey, not to detract from.
LP,
Hold on.
Hey, Tom, LP kind of looks like if you and I had a kid, Tom.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
Yeah.
He's kind of like.
I said I know them.
Fat. He's kind of like fat like you, but red like me.
He's not as fat as me.
Well, that's
Not
the
a
cool thing
chance.
too, is that you got a white dude and a black dude getting
Yeah.
together and creating music together, regardless of whatever the fuck they look like, and they crush
No,
it.
I know them because me and Killer Mike are Bernie bros.
Oh, that's right.
That's how I got to know Run the Jewels.
Yeah, man. And he's a really good activist too, and in all of the United States. And he Adult Swim had him on the other day. He did this really cool graduation commencement speech, which is awesome. He's just a really good speaker and intelligent and very inspirational. So
I just a few moments ago I wanted to mention, right? You were holding your microphone like this.
I do that, yeah. Just because it's resting on the tube, and then I can hold it
What
right.
is that?
This is how rappers hold the mic.
Really?
Yeah, just like that. So if you're at home, take notes and don't fucking cup the mic ever, because then you sound like this, and it sounds like shit. You hold the mic. You don't have to hold
Hot
it like
tip,
this,
hot tip,
but
hot
you keep
tip.
it away from your mouth.
I just shove the thing in my mouth and yell.
Yeah.
That's my move.
But yo, Killer Mike and LP both love weed and beer, and that's awesome.
We make beer.
They do it responsibly.
Cool, man.
Let's send him some beer.
Let's do it.
Killer Mike.
I'll reach
Killer
out.
Mike came out with a really solid video recently about the whole protest and the riot stuff. You guys get to watch that?
Yeah. Yeah. Was it the mayor, the police chief, or something?
Oh, you
TI?
mean not an actual music video?
No. It was like
Yeah.
No,
Where
no,
he's
no.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was good. That's being shared everywhere. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great. Good peoples.
Cool, bros.
Cool, bros. Well, shit, that's it for me. I know maybe we should share, if you guys are interested in learning more and about the company, you can check our Instagram handle, which is at Thorn Beer. And then our website's thorn.beer, no com, just thorn.beer. So you can check us out there.
You could always look up Tom Instagram at
What is it?
Dad Bod No Kid and Rickshaw.
I'm a dad where it matters, all right?
Rickshaw Rob, that's mine. No, what's your Instagram handle? You wanna share it?
Thorn Beer Boss Tom.
Thorn Beer Boss Tom, like Boston, BOS.
Correct, but
And
TOM.
Dennis, what's yours?
At SD Taxman.
At SD Taxman, and mine is at B.
Dennis, you're a Renaissance man.
Yeah, he is.
Taxes, beer, booze, glasses.
Don't you finger paint too?
Floor ceilings. Finger.
And mine's at B3 Comp. B the number 3 KOMP, like company. But that's it. Check us out.
All right,
That's
boys.
it. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Sign it out. Yeah, tomorrow. I'm
4
around.
pack with 3.
3-pack.
Thorn.
3-pack. All right,
Peace.
later.
Peace.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.